This €750 smartphone absolutely destroys the iPhone 17. By paying around €200 less, you get a 5x telephoto camera, a stupidly massive 6500 mAh battery, 12 GB of the fastest RAM on the planet, massive UFS 4.1 storage, and the list goes on. But after living with it for the past 4 days, I'll have to say, it's not perfect. So today, I'm going to take you through every nibble of my experience to finally answer the itching question, should you buy it? Or should you skip it? The review unit came in a pretty hefty box, but inside it's just Xiaomi standard packaging. Still, there's no single indication that this is anything less than a Pro Series flagship. Inside you get an insert containing the usual papers, a very rare phone ornament called case, which you don't get with iPhone, and of course the SIM ejector pin. Further inside is a phone itself. We'll get back to you in a minute, followed by an even rarer find, a 67-watt hefty charging brick and a USB cable, all leading to this one satisfying... Never mind. That is the most gorgeous color that I've ever seen on a smartphone. But the first thing that I did after unboxing is check the telephoto camera. I know you can't see me properly, but those tall buildings in the back are at least a few kilometers from here. So let us see how the Xiaomi 17T performs with a telephoto camera. Okay, that looks absolutely impressive. Let's do one thing. Let's zoom up to around 90x. Well, that is pushing it. But if you compare the exact same picture taken on the iPhone 17, I don't think that's a competition anymore. But the more interesting part with this telephoto camera is that it can shoot up to 4K 30 or even 60 FPS video with this lovely natural background blur. It's completely coming out of the camera. It's not any digital processing. I'll say that it almost looks like a professional video camera, almost, because in order to get to that professional grade background blur, you need to move much closer to the camera to the extent that it gets a little bit awkward. It's still an excellent candidate for macros because of the close focus distance. You get an elite level of background blur, making it the only phone in the studio that I won't mind using for B-rolls or as a secondary camera, because this camera, if you have not noticed yet, is actually the Xiaomi 17T, and I'm going to continue shooting for the entirety of this video. But while shooting the macros, I noticed the single biggest catch of this phone, and you need to hold your breath for that. Because, come on, there are other things that deserve special attention in this phone, like the design. Because it sits a notch below their top-level flagship, Xiaomi could take a calculated risk to add a bit of flair, and I honestly love it. The back is still made of glass, and not just any glass, but the Gorilla Glass 7i, just like the display, which is not the toughest for the display, but getting a protective glass just for the back in this price range is pretty rare. But coming back to display, because it is one of the most interesting components of this phone, at first it looks like any modern Xiaomi flagship display. 12 bits, AMOLED, 120Hz, pretty immersive, 6.59 inches, comes with all the fancy bits like HDR10+, Dolby Vision, and excellent color accuracy. The sneaky parts are the eye protection features. For starters, you see, there's a reading mode, right? And it not only tweaks the color like you would expect with night lights, but also applies a visual texture to the screen, which surprisingly feels good. And when you top it off with the TÜV Rheinland certifications, high frequency PWM and DC dimming, it easily becomes one of the most comfortable and premium displays I've ever used in the segment. And still, there are no compromises in outdoor visibility. It is a very bright display. Just to show you, I actually compared this to the iPhone 17, which is one of the brightest base model flagship you can get in the market right now with ARC. And there is no tangible difference between the two phones. And it's also great for entertainment. The display does most of the heavy lifting, while the speakers mostly stay in the background. They're a decent pair, comes with Dolby Atmos, surprisingly loud, but also needs a little bit of manual tweaking out of the box, like turning on this immersive mode or playing with the equalizers a bit, both of which natively supported in the system software. And that software, HyperOS 3.0, has evolved into something very mature, and it clearly shows how seriously Xiaomi has started taking their flagships. There is not a single intrusive ad in the system software. I'm noticing this same pattern across all of their flagships. The 17 base model did not have ads, so did their Xiaomi Pad 8, and now this newly launched 17T. It is fundamentally shifting their identity from being that alternative Chinese brand known for great phones with mediocre software to someone polished, mature, and ready to take down the big three by filling in all the compromises that you would typically expect in each of the brands. Or does it? Well, you decide. The software is not only clean, it is pretty. Sure, it carries the aspirational vibes of trying to be iOS, but it still manages to be unique in its own way. It's more fun and alive, exactly why Xiaomi does not leave you astray with cheap haptics. Every little interaction gives you a satisfying feedback. There's a dedicated theme store, a variety of lock screen effects that competes directly with the iPhone, and also comes with the most extensive widget collection that I've ever seen, starting from things that are genuinely useful to stuff that are just cute. Wait, you can even feed it. Dude, eat slowly. Before we get further carried away, there are other things in the software that deserves attention, like Xiaomi interconnectivity and its brilliant execution, which allows you to share files across iOS, Mac, and other devices. Not just that, it's almost like having the iPhone, because after you install the interconnectivity software on the Mac, you get access to all the other things like screen sharing or even remotely operating the camera, an important feature for us content creators, completely blocked by the Apple ecosystem. So just to show you, I'm currently using my MacBook Air 2020 over here, and as you can see, the screen is shared from the Xiaomi 17T. It's actually shooting over there, so I can see what the feed shows on my Mac. The only problem is that, yes, I cannot change the orientation, which is a bit annoying, but yeah, you'll have to live with it until they push an update. And there's still zero compromises in the AI side of things. You still get their text AI features. There is still Circle to Search. There is Gemini, which is arguably better than Siri for the most part. There are a ton of AI editing features too, like Expand or even the AI Eraser, which performs much better compared to iPhone at the cost of needing the internet. Then we have AI Sky or bokeh effect, and a lot more. The outlier here is a live moment editor. Every image containing a live moment can now be edited directly inside the Gallery app. Okay, talking about pictures, I think it's time to talk about the catch of the telecamera. That is low light performance. I noticed this first time when taking a macro shot with where the subject was in the shadows. Immediately, the crisp factor of the camera took a hit. I won't say the image is unusable. That would be highly inaccurate. I also won't be blaming Xiaomi. f3 is already an aggressive aperture for a periscopic telephoto camera on an upper mid-range device, but it also completely flips when you actually start shooting at night. Because of the Leica collaboration, the processing restores much of the light. The main camera is the Light Fusion 800. It's good, but I think the Leica collab is doing much of the heavy lifting here. Just look at the color and processing. I love it. And I'll also say the same for the ultra-wide camera. Portrait mode is also good, very good actually. Impressive edge detection. The telephoto camera does a really good job here to give that natural FOV to human subjects. The front camera honestly blew me away. It has got a fixed focus, so I thought, okay, I'll probably never use it. But look at the images, the detail, the sharpness, they're of very high quality. Okay, I know we all have been waiting for this. That is the performance. This phone is powered by the Dimensity 8500 Ultra, which is a package of 1 performance and 3 additional performance cores, followed by 4 efficiency cores. And this phone is a breeze to use. The chip is responsible for that, I get it. But the 12 GB of the fastest LPDDR5X RAM and the UFS 4.1 storage is far more responsible here. And the RAM management is elite. It consistently keeps apps running in the background when you need them, but it also directly degrades with environmental temperature, so that is something to keep in mind. But more on that in the thermals, because now we are going to do a bit of gaming. At max settings in this open world game, it performs very well. The FPS is clearly locked at 60, just like we have said, but as soon as the scene gets busy, it starts giving up. Too many crashes, or say 5 to 6 cars in near vicinity, and the FPS immediately drops to around 40 to 50. You still get a workaround, that is using Game Turbo along with performance mode, which squeezes out a little bit more of that FPS, but I still had a doubt. The mild heating of this phone, is the chip mildly hot and it is radiated out, or is the phone just bad at taking the heat away from the chip? For that, I ran a stress test, and just look at the graph. It remains absolutely stable, even up to the exact score for the last few runs. So I'll say it has got really good thermals on paper, and that is primarily because of the ice loop cooling system. But you need to keep your expectations realistic. Nothing is magic. If you take this phone out outside and take a few videos or shoot continuously for a long time, it's going to heat up. It happened with me, and it happens with every other flagship that you'll ever use, especially when shooting outdoors in high temperatures. For connectivity, you get the full flagship package. That is BT 6.0, Wi-Fi 6E, but because this is a MediaTek chipset, you don't get support for aptX adaptive codecs, which is fine for almost all cheap or expensive Sony headphones because LDAC is still fully supported. The BT connection is very stable, and with respect to Wi-Fi, internet speed is also super fast, primarily because of the custom antenna array, which also makes phone calls and signal experiences better. The last is the battery. In my experience, the phone comfortably lasted more than a day, but it largely depends on the usage profile. Here is mine for reference, which includes the SOT. The 65-watt charging helps in super fast charging. The massive battery takes around 55 minutes to full charge, starting from 19%. Overall, this phone is a must buy, especially for this telephoto camera. I'm ready to ditch all of my pricey proper flagships for this. It hits the sweet spot in the 2026 market for someone who wants a clean, good software experience, a phone that does not feel slow, and has got a truly cinematic telephoto camera. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe. Do let me know what you think about the Xiaomi 17T. I think this is a very impressive phone. I'll catch you in the next one.